today's session, that why web development. So the moment I decided to come up with this session is because many of the beginners don't know why they are even doing the software development part, or why they are even learning the web development. Okay, so many of times it happens that they go to class and they spend some money, but they don't know what exactly they are doing, and ultimately they will be paying a few bucks there, but they don't get to learn anything. So this is why I thought of coming with this session, so that you should be aware while spending your money. Okay, so what is web development? So anything that you developed, uh, it is mainly of building a website. You see on the internet, there are a lot of websites are there, like Facebook. Taking an example that Facebook, Twitter, these are the famous websites you have, or you can have your commercial websites like Amazon and Flipkart. You see it in a day-to-day life. So these are the website, and to develop this eh, website is called a web development in the simple layman's term. So there are two types of websites. So what are those two types of websites are? That is static and dynamic. Okay, many of us don't know what is static and dynamic. That is why they also, some people will face a problem while they have some certain business and they go to a developer saying that we need a website, but they don't know what exactly website they need. There are two different types of websites, that is static and dynamic. So if you are like, now taking an example of static websites are basically your content will be fixed, and you don't have any database related operations in your static website. So that is when, if your business is small and you just need to uh, provide your business a way, you can put it in the static manner. That is, you just need to put your contact details on the website, then you can go for a static website. And where these dynamic websites are, suppose you want to sell something, you have database operations, like you need to register the user, you need user to have a login details, you need to do something with the database, then these are more of dynamic websites. So, so considering this static and dynamic, what like what you want, what website your business needs. So you can decide it. If your business is very small, suppose you have a boutique shop and you want to sell your uh, items, then you can just have a dynamic website for that matter. And if you don't want to sell it, you just want to display it, what are the things are there in your boutique shop, and people can contact you, then you can simply put a about us and contact us details, and your item should be displayed in the static manner. Is that clear, everyone?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Am I
Yeah, yeah.
audible
Yes.
clearly?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, Abhishek.
Yes, sir.
Good. So let's move to the further part. So each website consists of this front end and back end part. So what is front end and what is back end? So before going to technically understanding what is front end and what is back end, so let us discuss some examples that we see in the day-to-day life. Okay, so take an example of movie making. You can see only the hero and heroine dancing over the screen, and you praise that, right? Like you say that it looks good, and you see only the front end part, you see only the screen, but you are not aware of what happens in the background. So there are many things that happens in the background. There are many people are involved, like producer, like director, and art director, costume designers, cinematographer, editor. There are too many people involved in this process of creating a movie. So if we relate this to that, then our screen, our TV, or our theater becomes our front end, and back end part is all your camera, all your whatever cameraman will be there, director. These people fall under back end part. That are not seen into the picture, but they are present, due to which your movie is getting created. Also, we can take an example of building constructors. Like you can see only the building, but to make that building, you have construction manager, estimator of the building, architect, supervisor, engineer, workers. These all are there. This falls under backend, and if you relate this example, then the front end part is your building that nicely you can see your building well painted. That is front end. People have tendency to understand only the front end part, but not the back end part. But back end plays very important role in whole like whichever example you take. In this whole scenario, why I'm explaining is because it same happens with the website part also. So web applications are often judged by their uh, front end or UI part, that is user interface part, which you see uh, on your browser. But that is not only the front end part. There are too many things that happen in the background also. So let us understand what exactly technically means front end and back end. Okay, so front end, uh, you go to one website, suppose you are searching for amazon.com in your browser, and Amazon is displaying you the web page, that is their home page with the number of items displayed on the screen. That is front end part, that user can see on their browser. That is user end. Also it is called as the client part. Okay, so that usually things are like beginners don't know what is front end and back end of the website, so I am explaining this concept. So front end is basically a UI part, user interface part, that is displayed on your browser when you go and search in your browser part. And what is back end part? So backend part usually has the web server and the database. So what is server basically? So server is something which serves you the thing, and database is something you can store the information related to your website. So if I take an example of amazon.com, they have the front end which is displayed with the too many number of items, but that item should be present in the database, and that item should be served by your server to the front end part, served by your server to the front end part. Getting? Any beginners can unmute your mic and then speak. Is it clear?
Yes, yes.
Guys, is it clear? There are too many members.
Yes,
I
Abhishek.
see
Yes,
people.
Abhishek.
Okay. If at all any doubts you have, you can stop me and ask the questions. So let us move ahead. Like, let us understand now. We want to have some career in web development part. So beginners who have just finished their college and want to move in the software development field, they don't know what exactly they must do. So if anyone is looking for having a career as a web developer, then there are two things. One is the front end developer, and another is the back end developer. So what is front end developer? So front end developer deals basically with these technologies, that is HTML, CSS and JavaScript. These are understood by your browser, and that is present on your client side, that is on your browser itself. So any front end developer who is supposed to have a career as a beginner in the software development field should know these technologies like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay. To become a full-fledged front-end developer, one must know these technologies also. Like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are the basic ones. Likewise, you need to know Ajax, that is asynchronous JavaScript and XML. That that is basically used to call out our APIs and render our page asynchronously without refreshing our page. When you start learning this, you'll get to know what the idea for this. So before going for learning before going for Ajax, you can always learn JavaScript first, then move ahead with the Ajax. So there are certain libraries which makes our work simple. So if you try to code in the CSS, then it is very difficult. CSS and HTML, it is very difficult to build a page nowadays. If you have the libraries supporting, so jQuery is the JavaScript library that makes our work easier by having the different syntax to it, and also Bootstrap. So they basically provide you with the classes. You can just use their classes in your code, and that will do a design for you. Okay. So now, what are frameworks? So there are few frameworks available. So if you want to be a front-end developer, then there is a React and Angular JS you must know nowadays. If you are going only from the as a front-end developer part. So there are some jobs related to the front-end developers are user interface designer, web designer, user experience designer, and front-end developer. So what this basically do is user interface will just have an design idea. That means user in UI designer will basically put them in papers like my design should be like this, my website should be like this. But uh, the user interface will not do anything with perspective to code part. So what the web designer will do? Web designer will actually put the uh, raw design into the wireframe. So there is a concept called wireframe. That means using the Photoshop or any editor tool, you can create a replica of your raw data into your fine data. That is, you create a user interface in the form of wireframe. So what this UX designer is, UX designer will basically study and research uh, like how the user uses the website. It will come with the ideas that user needs these clicks at the particular in the particular format in the at the particular corner, and it exactly knows how user experience can be achieved. So it conveys the message to UI designer. UI designer will put them in papers, and web designer will actually create a wireframe. So this is how it goes, and the front-end developer part comes at the last. That will actually develop your front-end part using code. So using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, using these technologies, front-end developer will actually put them in code and design your web pages. Till here, anyone has doubt? Hello?
No.
Anyone? Guys, speak up, please. Like, unmute your mic and speak up so that I can be able to understand you are going through. Hello?
Yeah,
It's
Abhishek.
clear, Abhishek. Clear.
Okay.
It's clear. You can go
It's
ahead.
clear.
Okay. So let's move to our next slide. That is, uh, when it comes to like going to have a career in the field, you first see what is the scope for that field in the market. Basically, you see the salary first. That is what the motivation to earn the money or go to that field. So if I have picked this from the wiki, and here is the pay scale for the front end developers according to the experience. So less than 1 year, it's about 3 lakh per annum, and 2 to 4 years, it's about one. It's about around 4.5 lakhs. Going ahead with 5 to 9 years, it's 8 to 10 lakhs, and about 10 lakhs you can get it at the end of 19 years somewhere, or 15 years you can consider according to the current situation. Okay, so moving ahead, like we need to decide like whether going from front end is good or no. Whether you will have that career in that or no. So what you will do basically, first thing you must know that uh, going for front end is very easier than you're going for back end technologies, because things are like you don't need to have your CS background, you don't need to understand complex programming language that you have, you just need to know few technologies that are related to the front end. And while in the interviews also you don't face much problems related to coding. So this is how you can go for the front end development part. And there is a scope, there is no doubt, there is a scope in the front end development. But there are also disadvantages that only becoming a front end developer will put you in trouble somewhere, because in the smaller not in the metro cities, in the smaller towns, if you are working as a software developer, and if you know only the front end development part, then uh, the person will not hire you for only having only knowing the front end part, because their company will be very small in the small town. And the interview person will uh, expect that you should know front end as well as back end part, so that they'll have to pay you less and they will get their work done with you by you. So this is how the front end works, and this is what the scope as of now. Then let's first further discuss about the back end development, and then come to this part, which is good and which is not. Is that clear, everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So let's move ahead with the back end development part. Okay, so what is backend development? Now, backend developers will usually have to do multiple tasks. Like they need to first they need to know the server. They need to know the database. They need to know at least one programming language, and they need to know what is API. So moving ahead, I'll discuss you must know, to become a backend developer, you must know all these things. At least you must know. Even if you don't know completely, that's fine. But at least you must know these things. So first of all, you need to understand how operating system works. So there are mainly three types, like Windows, Linux, and Mac. Every backend developer now, you can have a proper Windows experience also, but in startup companies they'll expect you to know Linux also. So at least Windows and Linux knowledge every backend developer should have. Now there are client side or front end technologies. Why knowing the front end technologies as a backend developer is necessary? Can anyone answer?
Because basis on front end, we backenders have to write the code. We need to understand what exactly they want, and depending on that, we have to connect it to the backend. That is what I can say in simple words.
Correct, correct. So how this goes is because front every backend developer must collaborate with the front end developers to explain them this is how our backend works and this is where we are going to connect your front end code to backend. So the moment you see the front end part, let's take Amazon as an example. The moment you see the item that is displayed on the front end part, that has combination of your front end and the back end development work. Front end is your HTML and back end is somewhere it is getting you the image from the database. So every backend developers at least should know basics of HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So there are few server-side scripting languages that backend developers should know. So you don't need to have all this, or you no need to have the knowledge of all these technologies, but only like you can have only the Python as a server-side scripting language with you, and as PHP as a server-side scripting language with you, or Java, or you can also have the Java as your backend scripting. Okay. So moving ahead, like there are few databases every backend developer should know. MySQL, PostgreSQL, and MongoDB. So now relational database and non-relational database. There are two types. So relational database is what you have a proper structure and you store it in the form of the tables. And non-relational is what you store the data in the form of documents. That means you don't have proper structure over there. So nowadays companies are expecting backend developers to know at least one relational database and at least one NoSQL database. So every now when you take a like backend developer, when you are having a career, you should know this like simple databases, at least how this works, how the insert query works, how the update query works and all. Now there is something called IDE, that is development environment for your programs. You should have your environment to run your programs locally, and that is how you develop the application. So there are few IDs that I have listed over here, that is NetBeans, Eclipse, Visual Code, and PyCharm. So it also depends on your what type of server-side language you are using. So NetBeans is often used for PHP code, and Eclipse is often used with Java, and PyCharm is often used for the Python development. So one must know these development environments. So backend developer also needs to have this application programming interface knowledge. That is because backend developers are not only providing data to your web application, it also provides data to mobile applications. So how this happens is now when this through the API you can provide the data using REST and SOAP. That the only difference is it provides it in the form of JSON and XML. So one must need to have the knowledge of APIs as well. So there are few web servers. Now what these web servers are? So these web servers are basically that serves you the web pages. Now servers that has the internet connection in the simple manner I'm trying to tell is called a web server. Nowadays these are the famous web servers that we have: Apache, Nginx, and Microsoft IIS. There are few version controls, that is GitHub, GitLab, and Bitbucket. Why this is used? Because there are too many developers working on the same project, and you are writing a different code for a different module. Then it is very difficult to integrate all the code at once. Like developer one has written one code, for module A, developer 2 has written code for module B, then it is very difficult to integrate that code separately using the pen drives. Copying that work is very tedious, and you copy the work and then collaborate with each other and then integrate. So to avoid that, you must know the GitHub and GitLab or Bitbucket version control, so that you can push your code on a centralized server, so that every developer can access your code and they can work on their particular models without affecting the other ones. So what is day-to-day roles and responsibilities for the backend developer that you see? Okay. Now, when it comes uh, to the backend developers, as I said, it does multiple tasking. It should also know some front end part. It should also know the servers. It should also know the database part. Also know the operating system very well. So, what exactly backend developer does is, it should the backend developer is the key person of your entire web application, that is present throughout the life cycle of the web application. Its main focus is on the coding and debugging. Backend developers are usually involved in coding the things, coding the requirements and providing them with the solution with the help of web applications. Also, backend developers need to collaborate with their front end with the other teammates that are developing front end. Also provide the training and support for the other team members. Now, it will not happen in the team that if you know something and you are only working person, and your other teammates are not knowing the things that you are working, it will not happen in any team like that. So you must share your knowledge, you must train them to support, you must train and support them to understand the technology, and also they can work with you on the same project. Backend developers always need to know the new technologies coming, and also should move from one technology to other technologies very fastly. Once you develop any application, suppose you have developed a registration page for your website, then how do you check whether the registration page is working or no? Is uh, with the help of testing. So before testers come into picture, you must know to test your web application manually. You should put the different email IDs. You should validate your front end part very properly. That email ID should be proper, password should be proper. These all things happen on the front end side, and backend developer should test the application at his level, and then it should give the further part to testers to test the application and then come up with the problems in that application. So so that is how backend developers are the backend developers must understand to as well as test the application very carefully. Also, backend developers need to collaborate with the other designers, developers, and system administrator, handling server related issues. Suppose if there is a problem with the server, so it doesn't happen usually with the big companies. It happens only with the small companies, that if you are doing or developing something, you need to deploy your own code on the web server. So that is so when you move your application to the production level, then it happens that you tend to fall into some issues. Then you need to solve those issues very properly. So in MNC you don't have to do these things, but your senior person will be doing these things for you. Okay. So is that clear till here, guys?
Yes.
Any questions? I'm expecting some questions for beginners. Any questions, guys? Okay. I see that there is no question at all. Okay. So now how to decide what is the scope for backend developers in the IT field? So backend developer, now there is a lot of scope for the backend developers is just because they know almost all the technologies very nicely. So before going to the backend development part, these all technologies are discussed. This you must know, and we'll understand what is the scope for backend developers. Here we'll see what are certain job titles that fall under backend development part, that Java developer, PHP developer, Python developer, backend developer, software engineer, and web developers. These all relate to your backend development job profiles. So when you are trying to have a career in the backend development, if you come across these job titles, you suppose if you are only related with the Java, then you can go for Java developer. Then the job profiles matches like this, like Java developer, backend developer, and software engineers, and web developer will match your profile if you are a Java developer. And same goes with the PHP and Python. So, if you see what the salary that we expect for having less than 1 year experience is around 3, and 1 to 4 years is around 4. So, as compared to front end developers, the salary is less in the uh, first first 2 to 3 years. If you see the salary scope was bit higher for front end part, and see 1 to 4 years was around 4.5 to 5 lakhs for 1 to 4 years of experience. But when you see the backend developer scope, it is 3 for the first year, and it will go to 4.5 to the 1 to 4 years of experience person. So if there you can see the difference, like salary is bit less in this matter. This happens only for the first few years, but after few years backend developer salary is somewhat that you can demand when you have a good exposure and experience with you. Now like knowing only the front end or back end will be good, or knowing all the technologies will be good. So as per my opinion, going as a full stack developer will be good, but that takes a quite lot of time to learn. But you can always go ahead and put your all the efforts to learn the things, and you can have the good career as a full stack developer in the IT field. So when you see what is full stack development is nothing but the combination of both front end and back end technologies. Okay, and what is scope is because now you can see 0 to 2 years experience, it will fetch you around 6 lakhs per annum package, and 2 to 4 years it will fetch around 8 lakhs of package. So you can see 30% of the salary difference. You can see there is quite a higher salary in the full stack development profile. That is because you know all the things very nicely in the full stack development. You understand the front end part also and the back end parts also. So if you say, is that HTML, CSS, JavaScript, knowing HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and knowing backend development completely is what called a full stack developer? Yes, it can be called a full stack developer. You don't need to have like Angular and React for that matter. You will be considered as a full stack developer itself, but it depends on company to company what their requirement is. Okay, so anyone has doubt till now, like what this full stack developer and hello,
No.
great. So to become a full stack developer, so you must know nowadays there are trending frameworks, and you must know at least uh, uh, one of those. So coming to the full stack developer, if you want to be a full stack developer, you must know at least one of these completely, like PHP and Laravel, Java and Spring, C Sharp or C Sharp and ASP.NET, or Python, Django and Flask, Node.js and Express. So what are these? Now I have mentioned Java over here, and what is Spring? So that is your MVC framework. Now what this MVC framework is, now previously they were developing application using your core Java or core Python or core PHP. That was quite difficult because uh, developers were developing the application according to their architecture and perspective. What in what simple thing in what like how they are thinking. So when the new developer comes, it is very difficult to understand the core part of the application, how the architecture is working. So frameworks will by default provide you one architecture, and that will go as a model view controller part. So all the things related to the database are put up in the model part, and all the things communicating between the model and the view are put up under that are like URL routing and put up under controller part, and views are basically what you see on the front end, like what the HTML page is displayed. So to be a full stack developer with the backend technologies, you must know one framework at least. Like for the Java you have Spring, for the PHP you have Laravel as well as Code Igniter, but I see that Laravel is most famous in the current current in the existing time, and so so why out of this? So out of these five, which one you should choose? So what is your goal to choose out of these five technologies that you have? So if I ask you a question, what you can choose, like to go as a full stack developer, then what you would choose? Anyone?
Django and Flask.
Django and Flask. One answer. Kiran?
Python and Django.
Okay.
PHP and
Who is PHP? Cannot see. Who said PHP?
it's me, Kiran Abhishek
Kiran.
sir.
Okay, okay. So PHP, Laravel, Django. Okay, you said so. So if I ask you why Python Django and why PHP Laravel, what would be your answer, Kiran?
Because when we are in fifth semester, we are done a project on PHP and database.
Great, that makes sense. So Akshata, why Python and Django?
Same, as I have already learned PHP, now I want to learn Python. So,
Okay. So anyone apart from Akshata and Kiran? Yes, Maruti.
Hello. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
Maruti.
Abhishek. So I know a bit about Python, and I have worked on like a small Django applications also. So that's why even nowadays for Django there are a lot of Python and Django, a lot of vacancies, openings also there, and that's why.
Yeah, great. So before going for any job profile, like if you want to make a career, first thing you see the scope, as how we discussed for the front end part also. So what is the scope now? If you see, Java is evergreen, that will never die, cause most of the previously developed applications are meant in Java and Spring itself. So that is like evergreen, that the market will never go down for Java. I cannot say like never go down, it might, but that will be there. That is consistent. And why not C Sharp and ASP.NET? Anyone has worked in ASP.NET? No?
No.
Cool. So C Sharp ASP.NET is also very good, also provides security very well. But thing is that most of the libraries will be paid. So no one tries to learn C Sharp and ASP.NET, and also it is quite difficult to understand. So to walk you through like PHP, Python, and Node.js, I have worked on PHP, Python, and somewhat Node.js. So like I never tried to learn Java because it was tough for me. C Sharp also, like I have worked on standalone projects. I didn't go for the web development part. And PHP, this is how I started. And then I once I learned the PHP and Code Igniter framework, then I started learning Python and Django. Then I found it like it was well demanded in the market, as well as your Node.js and Express framework is more demand in market nowadays. But thing is that you will have certain amount of issues that are not well supported. JavaScript is always good, and that is like you can say it will never stop. JavaScript is everywhere in the market. So Node.js and Express is also a good choice. So people nowadays having experience with the Python Django are trying to move it on the Node.js and Express, because there the things are very different, and certain things are easy also. So that is also one of the trending, you can say, trending frameworks, Express and Node.js. So current situation, in the current situation, all the requirements I find on the job profile is that Python and Django. You can go for Python and Django. Why not PHP? PHP also very good, but nowadays it has gone little bit down market, and you don't see any application that will be developed newly in the PHP. So people in the PHP are trying to move on the Django, and people with the Django are trying to move on the Node.js, because it provides more simplicity. I guess someone's mic is turned on. If someone's mic is turned on, please turn it off. Okay. Now, now my opinion will be with the Python Django. Why? Because that I have explained you earlier in the previous slide. Why Python Django? Why there is demand for Python Django developers? So, what is your opinion after knowing the difference between all this? So, anyone can answer. Okay, there is no beginner or experienced level. So, anyone can answer. What would be your opinion? What should anyone go for? PHP, Node.js, or Python Django? Nagesh?
Yeah. So as per my experience, I feel start with Python because it is pretty much simple to understand if you consider the syntax. And if you go with PHP, it's okay. If you learned in your college days, it's okay. But market wise, PHP is kind of down market as of now because people are moving into mini stack development, that is Mongo Node, Mongo Express,
Angular.
Angular and Node, also React. And Python side, Django is one of the leading framework they have, but also Flask is also a good framework, which is pretty much lightweighted compared to Django.
Correct.
Mm.
So, Nagesh explained about the Flask and Django. So even Flask is pretty much famous. It's due to because like suppose you want to host only the APIs on your server, then it is not a good idea to have a complete full architecture like how the Django has the complete full architecture with different packages. The Flask is very small framework that is very good for hosting or writing your APIs. So that is how the difference is in the Django and Flask. Django is used for largest project, and Flask is used for small applications, as well as Flask can be used for the writing APIs purposes. So that is how we try to focus on Python Django in this session. So any beginners have question till now? Any beginners? Yes.
No, Abhishek.
No.
Can go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
So let me tell you about my journey to Python Django, how it went. Then you can relate your own career with your like how if you are a beginner, then you can relate it and you can start working on it. It is always good idea to start anytime. It is never too late to start. So you start it, and if you have any doubts related to technologies or something, if you have doubts related to Python Django, you can always ping me if or give me a call to understand what is the better career opportunities you will have. So my journey to Django, I'll tell you simple story. When I was masters, when I was in the masters, I never had this coding experience at all. So I had a very good friend. I have a very good friend, Nagesh. His name is Nagesh. He's there currently in this meeting. So he explained me how the things are in the coding, and I started to learn few things. I started with the VB.NET and then C#.NET, developing a simple standalone application. Then I had I wanted to move for for the project purpose. I did it on PHP and Code Igniter for the final year project. Mm, then I started liking it. So I slowly learned about the HTML, CSS. You need to spend some time at least for those technologies. You will not have any shortcuts to enter into the IT field. You need to learn technologies very well. Then only you can move ahead. Then I started with the PHP part, then learned core PHP, then moved on the Code Igniter, learned framework. Then I came across Django. I learned that. So that is how I learned, and then I went in that field itself. Then I completely moved in the web development part. So meanwhile, in this 3 years, I have spent around 6 months of time in the machine learning part also. Nowadays, college students are expecting project on machine learning or data science. But what I feel is, uh, no doubt you can go for machine learning or data science, but you should have that capacity to push yourself to that struggle, push yourself to that uh, you can say you can put a more efforts. Okay, so it is not a good idea to just your professors are saying, then you come for machine learning project or something like that. You should have that inner feeling that you will go for this by the hook or crook. You will do a struggle properly. You will spend time for learning those technologies properly, and then you can go. If you are simply going and if you are getting stuck somewhere, then there is no turning back. Like if you go for 6 months or suppose say 2 years, if you go, if you don't understand anything and if you want to move suddenly move to some other technology or some other field, like from machine learning to web development, it becomes difficult for you. So I understood, like in the 6 months of span only, I understood that machine learning is not my cup of tea. So I tried to move myself with for the web development part. Then I began doing this stuff, and then I got a good career in web development part itself. So this is my journey about becoming a Django developer. So also we would like to hear your journey in next upcoming 2 years. So where you will be, whatever, like it might be web development, it might be machine learning or data science, but you should be able to explain how you went through and what is that you did and how you came up with this, and you are onto the good position now. Okay, so how to start learning Python Django? Here is the resource link. I'll open it for you. I have mentioned few good links over here, like how to learn the learn core Python, how to learn object-oriented Python. These are the sites I found it very useful. I have mentioned it over here. How to practice the things continuously. One should learn web framework, and then go ahead, learn with the video tutorials, learn the IDEs that is required. As I mentioned, Visual Code, PyCharm, Python, these are the IDEs that are very useful. Okay, so this is how, and I wanted to convey this to the beginners, uh, like who are facing a problem, what career path they should choose. So you can